the 75th Republic Day. And that's the topic for us today, as we're going to discuss a tribute for the 10 Indian cricketers who have a significant contribution to the country we have witnessed over the past several years. And are the two experienced, are rather my very fellow colleagues with us who will speak about them, five each to them. But firstly, welcome to the show, Orko, and welcome to the show, Siddhanshu. Something of a different we will definitely do today. Today is the 75th in Republic Day, and 75th number itself is a very important and big one. How do you represent the 10 players? I'll throw one players at you because you guys do not know who are the 10 players, but still, how is it feeling? Firstly, I'll come to Sitanshu. Something very unique, is it?
Yeah, I mean, cricket is one of the most watched, played game across India. So to represent India at the international level itself is a big achievement, and on top of that, getting glory in different aspects, whether
Yeah,
it is bowling, whether it is winning World Cups or anything. So there are a lot of players who have you know gone to get on to go and get like milestones, whether it's batting or bowling or
yeah.
any other achievements. So yeah, I mean, it would be great to talk about them.
Absolutely. And Orko, in short, how does it feel to be part of the 75th Republic Day? I'm talking about the Indian players.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Ours is a very famous nation in terms of, cricket. So obviously, with the fact that we have, of course, got a lot of glory in the previous 30, 40 years to be specific. So to discuss about each of the pillars of those glory would be wonderful.
Absolutely. And let me throw the players in front of you guys now. And it is 10. I have picked 10, out of which two of them are ongoing cricketers. No brainers about that. And eight of them have been ex cricketers, starting from the World Cup winning captain Kapil Dev, then Sunil Gavaskar, God of Cricket Sachin Tendulkar, Sourav Ganguly, MS Dhoni, Rahul Dravid, Yuvraj Singh, Gautam Gambhir, and the two current cricketers, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. So 10 players, five each to both of you. I'll give one by one to you guys. And I'll start with the first person, that is 1983 World Cup winning captain, Kapil Dev. And I'll start with Orko to you. Looking into the stats, so many runs, average of 28.54 from an all rounder and World Cup winning captain. How do you describe him as one of the legends for India?
Well, as you rightly stated, he's an absolute legend, and not just for his leadership, but also for the skills that he provided to the team, because he was a top notch pacer. Apart from that, a big hitter, known for slogging it down the order, and he also played certain responsible knocks. If you remember the knock where he went berserk versus Zimbabwe, where the
Absolutely.
team was down 17 for 5 in Tunbridge Wells, and he ended up scoring 175, and that being a very iconic knock remembered even today after 40, 50 years. So obviously he's the man who shed the underdog tag for our country by making the impossible possible, by helping us win the World Cup in his leadership. Of course, it's the entire team that got us the World Cup, but his able leadership can never be discounted. So apart from being a wonderful all-rounder, a great captain, and he was the one who put Indian cricket in the world map of the game.
And even to some extent, do we still regret that that was the only one big mega occasion where we do not have a video clip? Just because we had so many big games in that same day, and if we had to bring one game, and that was a record in the record books as well, do you think that was one of the innings to watch out for? And will that be ever be broken in Test cricket?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think it may be broken because we are seeing a number of great batters coming up who can break records which we thought would never be broken. But yeah, it's unfortunate that it was never on record, because that day I believe there was an Australia versus England match,
Yeah.
which obviously is considered to be a a big highlight fixture in any form, especially in cricket. So it's unfortunate that it wasn't telecasted, but yeah, we all know the importance of that knock, and that too, it's not the Zimbabwe we know now. Back then, Zimbabwe was a very good team, and no wonder we were down 5 wickets at the score of 17. And to take the team ahead from such a situation is absolutely unimaginable. So Kapil Dev, obviously a man whom we can never forget for his contributions to the game.
Absolutely. And if you go on with the next player as well, Sunny G, you very well know this person as well. A legend in the field and right now a legend in the com box as well. His contributions for Team India as well.
Well, extremely. I mean, a proclaimed player, I should say. He's a man who actually gave the world some amount of knowledge that the game can be played in a patient way as well. Otherwise, people believed that the game was all about going bang bang, but he was the one who played it in a very patient defensive form. And even after being so patient, he was someone who amassed around 10,000 runs in the game, and he set the records which ultimately were broken by the Sachins, the Kohlis, and the Ponting. So he was obviously the benchmark of batting in India and around the world. People used to fear him for that amount of resilience, patience that he had as a batter. So his presence obviously was important for Indian cricket, an absolute legend. And even in the com box, he's known for making some beautiful analytical talk, which we are all aware of. And I think he's 70 plus or nearing 80, and he's still someone who looks so fit for commentary and analyzing cricket. So it's beautiful that he's part of the game even today in the com box.
Absolutely, no brainers like you also mentioned, and I think I absolutely agree with you. Going on to the next player, the god of cricket, and I have to bring in Sitanshu for this one. Sitanshu, god of cricket, no introduction to him, but if you have to bring in some of the few memorable knocks, if you could remember, what would a couple of them would be?
I mean, the most iconic will obviously be his 100th international 100. That
Okay,
would be one of the biggest achievement which is there. Also, the first double 100 in the ODI cricket,
against South
which
Africa.
came, yeah. So these are like the couple of things that come straight up in the mind. And of course, I mean, the one in Sharjah, I mean, obviously,
Correct.
I did not really see that match as such, but then nowadays, when you get to see the clips of those, so I mean, it's you really go awe in the way that he had played, the pace and bounce in those
It's not
conditions.
just you, I would say. It's everyone, the three of us, who has never seen that game live, but we've definitely seen the clips of it, and we were all into that. And one shot which also defines Sachin Tendulkar, is it the straight drive,
One
or
is
it's the
the iconic is
over
that
point?
not the uppercut, that bouncer of Shoaib Akhtar which was hit.
Shoaib Akhtar over point,
And
yeah,
yeah, I
the one
mean the classic iconic shot. I mean one which he's known for is his straight drive, but then one other shot which everyone would remember is his
2003
shot.
World Cup
Yeah,
against Shoaib Akhtar. No brainer with that, and we move on to the next player. That is the Prince of Kolkata. No brainers. I have to bring the one and only person alongside me, Orko, Prince of Kolkata, Dada. What introduction do you have for him?
I mean, he's an inspiration. I mean, he's the one who made me follow cricket. To be very honest, back when I was a child, he was the captain of India, and I obviously saw him in tosses. I used to ask my uncles, my fellow colleagues. I mean, you can say someone who were elder to me who watched the game a little more. They used to often talk about him being the boss, being the don of cricket. He's the man who used to lead cricket forward, known for his leadership, and obviously a great asset as a batsman as well. So he brought in such dynamic nature in the game. He was a very fierce face, a person who was known for being very confident, very defensive about his team, and obviously he unearthed certain gems like Dhoni, like UV, like Bhaji, and many such players. People credit him for even making Sehwag an opener, and we know the rest is history. So, because of his bold moves that he's done, he has taken Indian cricket forward. There was a time when Australia was unbeatable. They were called the Invincibles, but I think India challenged them in a number of games. We know the Kolkata Test where Lakshman and Dravid did a number of things, and all these came under his leadership. We were close to winning a World Cup, but again we lost the final under him, and of course it happened even later. I mean, very recently, sadly, but. But obviously, he was the one, just like Kapil, he gave Indian cricket the amount of importance, and people started taking the team much more seriously, that they are not just about Sachin, but they are about a team which can play alongside Sachin also. So Ganguly brought in that team game into us, and obviously a very important figure in our sporting history.
And also a little bit early predictions from you as well. Like we have seen Kapil Dev, we haven't seen him, but we have heard a lot about him. We have seen very closely MS Dhoni. He has been rated one of the greatest captain of all time for Team India. But this man did have a lot of services. He made greats, to be very honest. And a lot of players you mentioned by yourself. And one of the example I would also say is a Virender Sehwag from a middle order to an opener. That one also. How much does he deserve a credit in terms of the Indian captain greatness?
Well, a lot, absolutely, because people used to say that Indian cricket or the Indian cricket team is all about Sachin and nothing else. Their fielding is poor, their bowling is gettable, their batting is what we fear, and that too only Sachin. But Ganguly made the team look like a team which could function even without Sachin, or actually better with Sachin, but not that they cannot do anything with Sachin. So he himself was a very accomplished batsman, known for the way he played spin. He was a dominant player. He also opened with Sachin. He could play even in the middle order as well. So he absolutely instilled that confidence which the Indian team lacked. And the most beautiful part about Ganguly is that he took over the team when the country's cricket was in doldrums. I mean,
Correct.
we were in a situation where in '96 we had that horrible semi-final situation created, then the match fixing saga, then the '99 World Cup where we disappointed again, and Azharuddin getting banned, and many such things happened. So during such a dull and dark phase, you needed a spirited leader, a shining light to save the country from such demons. And who better than Ganguly? He certainly brought us out from that shadow and took Indian cricket forward to a huge extent.
Absolutely, and you described it so well that I don't have to give any input towards that. And there's a competitor. I wouldn't say a competitor in terms of Team India, but a man. You can see the two of them having such a nice smile on their faces. I'll hand it over to Sitanshu for you. World Cup winning captain 2011, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, somebody who changes the game behind the stumps. We always remember that, and we always see that, even now.
Yeah, I mean, as Arko mentioned, that Sourav Ganguly was the one whom he took him as an idol in cricket and started watching cricket because of him. I mean, I would say the same for MS Dhoni for me. Like
Okay.
from my childhood, I started watching the matches. I mean, when he used to play for India A, and then those tours which used to be telecasted, I used to follow those, and from there that journey had started. Like I just started following him from there. And I mean, once he became the captain of the Indian side from the T20 World Cup, I mean, rest is history in terms of captaincy. And even, I mean, as you mentioned, like on the similar path of Sourav Ganguly, if you see, so Sourav Ganguly had promoted Virendra Sehwag from a middle order to a opening role. I would say the same for Dhoni in terms of Rohit Sharma.
Rohit
Again,
Sharma.
Rohit
Yep.
Sharma from middle order to the opening slot. Again, both of them have the same style of playing as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the similarity that I see between Ganguly and MSD as well. And
But the
yeah,
difference
the
I
number
have
of ICC
witnessed,
trophies.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've seen a lot of captains. We have seen a lot of captains out there, but he's one of the few who never shows aggression. How is that possible? You're a leader of the side.
Yeah,
You're a
I
leader.
mean, I was about to mention that when Orko was speaking, that the first, I mean, Indian captain who showed that aggressive intent, I would say would have been Dada. I
Yeah,
mean, if you remember, I mean, obviously everyone remembers that iconic, Lord's
Lords. Yeah,
balcony scene. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I meant about the aggressive thing. And then after that, we see now in terms of Virat Kohli, that era of Virat Kohli's captaincy. But then Dhoni was like quite the opposite. Like he showed zero emotions on field, and even in spite of like whether it's like he's in the fielding team and you're defending like 5 runs of the last over, he'll have the same expression even if it's like 42 runs required of the last over.
yeah,
So
that's true.
there's no change in the emotions. And I mean, people say it's a matter of luck as well, but then he has this, I mean, cricketing mind, you would say, or I mean, it's open to debate. It's cricketing mind as well as a little bit of luck which goes the way, wherein some decisions you need to be bold enough to take those decisions, and then if it pays off, it just turns out to be a very big, important decision which has been taken.
True that, absolutely. And a lot of said about Mahendra Singh Dhoni. We move on to the next player. That is the wall of Indian cricket. We always say if you have to get him out, get through the wall. And current Indian coach. And I'll once again say, Siddhanshu, it's time for you once again to carry on and say a little bit about the current Indian coach and the wall.
Yeah. So as you know that I stay in Bangalore, so he's the local boy from here. And I mean that's one of the reasons I would prefer talking about him. And yeah, I mean he was, I guess, the first player for India, I guess, who would have played almost every. He is one person who would have sacrificed a lot for the Indian cricket. in terms of on the match day as well. It's like the captain wants a wicket keeper when the regular wicket keeper is
Yeah,
injured or he's not available for that match. So you look towards Rahul Dravid, he's up for it. He goes and he takes the gloves. You want an opening batsman in the test match in England, he's there. You want like a player who's batting all the way from the opening slot till the end, he was there for the side. So in spite of those things, I mean, I would say a little bit underrated. I mean, under acknowledged for that matter. The achievements that he has brought for the Indian team in like under the shadows of like the achievements that someone like a Sachin Tendulkar got in the same era. So he might not have had those big innings or like the 100 centuries or those kind of milestones under his belt, but his contribution cannot be discarded at all. He was one vital player for the Indian side, and he has just continued from there in terms of the coaching responsibility that he has taken up for the under 19 team first, where he
yeah,
groomed all the youngsters who have now started to come up into the regular team, into the main senior team. And yeah, now he is the coach of the Indian senior team as well, and we have seen the fruitful results.
agreed. But a short while ago, Orko was saying about the patience, the resilience of Sunil Gavaskar. Siddhanshu, do you rate this man a bit higher than Gavaskar in terms of patience in the middle?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to rate it as much because I haven't really seen Sunny play. So, but whatever innings I have seen Rahul play, uh, he was very, as I mentioned, in the tough conditions of England when all the other players might have been getting bowled or caught behind. He was one who would have been, sticking around and maintaining his wicket at one of the ends. And right
Absolutely.
now we see someone like a Pujara who had done that in some places like Australia, those kind of innings. And that too under the situations where this DRS and all was not available in those times.
Yep.
So yeah, and he used to play those crucial innings then,
Okay,
and
agreed
that's the
with
reason
that.
he was given the name the Wall as well.
Yeah, that's
That was
true.
one of
That's the iconic name, and there's nobody taking over that. Move on to the next player. That is somebody I would like to introduce him as not one of the underrated players. I would rather say, but also whose brains I really rate higher. When he has been part of the KKR camp, now currently he was part of the LSG camp. Once again, back into the part of the KKR camp, a great leader, even equivalent to a great mentor. I'll hand it over to Orko. Firstly, give me a little bit about him as a player, and then bring him his leadership skills in terms of being a mentor or a captain for your team, that is KKR.
Well, as a player, he was a very stable opener, a big match player, as we know his contributions in important events like the World Cup final or the T20 World Cup final. He was a man who stood up in important occasions. But of course, there were occasions that he stayed under the cover. People say that he doesn't get enough credit, or he himself behaves like someone who doesn't like the fact that he's not given much credit. But we leave that for another day. But we do acknowledge his he acknowledged his commitment towards the country, towards the game, and the team that he has played for. An exponent of playing spin. He's someone who has mastered the art of playing off spin. People say that he was the one who made the inside out shot look so beautiful. So Gautam Gambhir, we all know for that inside out shot, for the sweeps, he was so comfortable against spin, hardly got out to spin. And he obviously won the Cricketer of the Year in Test as well. He's been consistently in the Indian team for a while. Some say that his leadership is so good that he could have taken Indian cricket to a huge height as well. And often told that he's born in the wrong era because Dhoni was doing so well that Gambhir's captaincy never really shone in the international circuit. He captained India in a series and won it 5-0, and there are not many people who have done that in the past. So obviously, he as a batsman was excellent, as an opener, a consistent player, and as a captain, who knows it better than me in terms of what he has given to KKR? I mean, even after going away from KKR, he left behind gems like Sunil Narayan, like Andre Russell. No one knew about Narayan even before the auction in 2011. He told the franchise that you buy anyone or you're not, but you're surely getting Narayan. He was that much sure that Narayan will shine. If not 2011, I don't remember the exact year, but he was so sure about Narayan that he'll be doing very well in the T20 circuit and also with Russell. There were players who could have been retained ahead of Russell and Narayan, but he went on to retain them ahead of everyone else. So that shows his acumen, that shows his eye towards the game and spotting talents. And he has also kept that in going in Lucknow, and maybe again when he's back as a mentor in KKR, he might do the same. So in total, a wonderful leader, batsman, and of course, a great eye to the game as a mentor.
Absolutely, and shows the amount of happiness you have in your face when you said that welcome him back into the KKR colors as a mentor. We wish you all the best for that one. Moving on to the one, a player, a type of a player whom we miss a lot, I would say, in the current Indian squad. Yuvraj Singh, I'll hand it over to Sitanshu for you. Singh is king, we all say, when it comes to him with the bat, with the ball. How much do we miss somebody in Team India who's a batsman who can bowl, a fit cricketer like him, and his contributions for Team India, please?
I mean, the most iconic thing that you would remember about Yuvraj is obviously the 2011 World Cup edition.
Absolutely.
Apart from obviously those six sixes which were hit to Stuart Broad in the 2007 T20 World Cup. But the reason I would say 2011 World Cup is higher than the 2007 T20 World Cup would be the reasons we got, the things we got to know after the World Cup, that
Yeah,
he was actually suffering from cancer during the World Cup, and he just went on to play and win it for the Indian team in that situation as well. So that really makes it, a commendable thing. It's a very special thing, that the dedication that he showed towards the country and
absolutely.
the spirit he showed towards the game. So yeah, I mean, he is one of the few players who has won the under 19 World Cup, the T20 World Cup, the seniors men's World Cup as well. So these are some of the main achievements that I would say he holds. And in terms of anyone who can replace him in the team, I mean, it's very hard to find someone with those skills. But I mean, I would say the like to like kind of replacement that we are seeing right now would somewhere, I mean, not at his level, but somewhere going towards his level would be Ravindra Jadeja
Okay.
in the like to like terms. I'm not saying that he matches his kind of level, because obviously both of them have played in different eras. I mean,
Yeah, true
Jadeja
that.
now plays in a different, level, and I mean, both of them are excellent fielders, left-hand batsmen who can, clear the boundaries. Obviously, Yuvraj is a better batter than Jadeja, I would
Yeah,
say. And Yuvraj, in the 2011 World Cup, we saw how he got those crucial wickets in the uh, tournament.
yeah.
So no one would match that kind of, the ability, the all-round ability of Yuvraj Singh, I would say. But yeah, the one who could come close is probably Jadeja.
Absolutely, no brainers with that, and I absolutely agree with you what you said. Moving on to the two other cricketers, they are rather current cricketers, and I'll start with the Indian captain, current Indian captain Rohit Sharma, and I would bring in Orko for this one. Rohit is still playing Indian cricket. He's one of the current players are in this slide as well. Contributions for Team India before, after he's been part of this Indian circuit for a long, long time since the 2007, I would say, and also has been an IPL captain, winning for Mumbai Indians. Tell me about him. I would ask in a different way, but tell me about him as a person first, Orko. How is he in terms of when you have a captain like him? How do you feel in that environment? And also tell me a little bit about his leadership skills.
Yeah, as a person, we all know that he's very chilled out. We all see the interviews as to how he talks to the journalists, that he doesn't know anything or he doesn't really care. He's that kind of a character. And obviously, in the dressing room, he brings the same amount of aura. He expects the players to go and express themselves and not hold back. And he himself has played that kind of a game. And he is an example of a player for whom the stars fell in place at the right time. I mean, in 2007, he came in as that very talented, bright teenager who was in the World Cup squad, played a good knock in an important match versus South Africa. And from there, suddenly he became this
Oops, I think probably.
yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe my net fluctuated. So people used to say that he's very talented. Gavaskar, he used to say that He and Kohli are going to be the next big thing in Indian cricket. Rohit has two different shots for the same ball, but he chooses the wrong shot often, and that's why he's failing. That's how people used to judge him. There were a string of low scores. He hardly used to get past 30s, and there was a huge amount of troll that was associated. But then came MS Dhoni in his life. He promoted him up the order, starting from the Champions Trophy, and from there the rest is history. He's now known to be one of the most prolific openers India has ever produced, and of course a fine captain. Again, the stars fell in place to make his captaincy come out to the front, because Mumbai Indians they went beyond Sachin and Ricky Ponting and thought of making him the next leader, and he brought them 5 trophies. And there's something about his leadership, we don't know exactly what, but yes, he has that brain. He who can turn games. We have seen Mumbai bringing victory from the jaws of defeat in many occasions when we think that the opposition is cruising. So he has something in him, and obviously it was evident in the World Cup as well, except for the final. But overall, a wonderful player, and again a player who is going to be very difficult to replace as a captain and batsman.
And you're a little bit spoken about him being rated in the earlier days about his 30s and 40s and then failing. In this World Cup, in this year's World Cup, we have witnessed that he has continuously scoring the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Would you rate that tournament of Rohit Sharma as the most underrated innings he has played in all the games?
Of course, any no doubt, because people believe that to be a very selfless act that he did. Obviously, it was not him alone who decided to do that. It was obviously decided by the coach and the entire management to go like that. And there are many people who, when they get that kind of leadership role, they fall in their shell. They don't express much. They try to be conservative and calm. But Rohit kept aside all such tags. In spite of being a leader, he himself went from the front all bang bang. And so Rohit Sharma's role in this entire World Cup is very, very underrated. And personally, I feel that losing this World Cup is a bigger loss to him than any other players, because the others will get chance. Kohli has won a World Cup again. He may play another one. He's extremely fit, but we don't know whether Rohit can continue that long. So this World Cup was very necessary for him to win, but sadly that didn't happen. So we can consider that to be a spot of poor luck. But that being said, we cannot stop acknowledging him as a captain as to what he has brought to the Mumbai Indians.
100% agreed, because still till now, even if you ask Rohit Sharma, he still thinks that it was one of the biggest World Cup he could have even won for himself and for the team. And moving on to the last player, it was no brainers when I said that two active players are there. Virat Kohli. Sidanshu, I'll come to you, final player, but I didn't ask Orko about this just because I wanted to ask you about Virat Kohli. That do you miss Virat Kohli as the Indian Test captain because of his aggressiveness you always witness?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Indian Test team that came up under his captaincy, we saw that aggression, and I think there was a team huddle video which had gone viral some time back, I think, wherein it was that India England Test match, and there was some around 75 minutes or 75 overs or something left, and Kohli was giving the pep talk before the team entered the field, saying that the opposition should feel like hell out there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
correct.
that's what actually happened. All the pacers were on fire that day, and the kind of aggression that he brings not only boosts the morale of the entire team, and it just improves the game watching experience as well for all the Indian fans at least.
Yeah, even a little bit, because he was that one captain. We would always be confident that whenever we travel to Sena countries, we are confident enough that we will get some result out of the series as well. And as a player as well, keeping aside the World Cup semi-final against New Zealand, I know you will definitely try to mention that as one of the special knocks. Is there any other couple of special knocks in your memory line of King Kohli?
The first iconic innings that I would say was that I think it was a tri series down under India, Australia, Sri Lanka,
Sri Lanka?
where
Yeah.
India had a I think 300 plus target, or something like, I think 300 plus target, which
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to be chased
321, 321.
321 odd, which had to be chased in I think 32, 34 overs or something,
Mm-hmm.
something
Yeah.
on those lines. And everyone had thought that it's a very, and in those days that was actually a very big score to
Huge
be
score.
chased.
Yep.
And nowadays, though, it's like more often than not, teams
We
cross the
witnessed that.
300 mark, and sometimes even go on to get that 400 mark. But in those times, like 300 plus was a very big task. Even for an entire quota of 50 overs. And
Yeah,
when it was
and one more.
supposed to be achieved within 40 overs, it was like a very huge task. And it was like close to impossible at that point. I would say that, at least that I thought, that
Yeah,
I was thinking that India would be hoping to win the match first. That would be the first priority. But then, I mean, his innings was, it
game
just blew
changing,
us away
match winning.
and blew Malinga away, for that matter of fact.
Absolutely. And one more to
So
you, Orko. One more innings of Virat Kohli, you would rate very high as well as in any format.
I think I will mention this innings. This was what that came in my mind because this was what actually announced Kohli in the world map because he literally flicked Malinga for fun. I mean, no one could ever dream of doing that to a player of such stature. That too in Australia, in Hobart, that ground known for being very bouncy and stuff. But he ended up doing such kind of things under pressure when there was such limited amount of overs to to score from, and he ended up winning us the match. It was unimaginable. Apart from that, I would say the 183 versus Pakistan that he scored. I don't remember the venue, but he did score, and that was another wonderful
It
knock
was in
because
Bangladesh, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
it was in Bangladesh, and that was another very wonderful knock. Also, one knock in Vizag. I mean, I stay there and I've watched that knock myself. He scored a 148 over here in Vizag, and he's very good in this particular ground. And yeah, he's someone who's Mr. Consistent. We know that when Kohli is into bat, he will surely score 40, 50 minimum. If not that, he'll score more than that, but never lesser than that. And as a captain, we know what kind of captain he was, an aggressive, fearless captain who obviously gave us the gifts like players like Siraj, whom we never expected to be such a big bowler. Siraj was often trolled in the IPL because he was a run machine of stuff. He used to get battered here and there, but now we know he's an accomplished bowler across formats. So Kohli has given us a lot. He's continuing to give us a lot, and I'm pretty sure he'll still give us a lot of memories as a batsman.
And you guys
another
have said
innings,
about, yeah, yes,
another
Shranshu. I
innings
would have
I
also
would
said
say
one
would
more inning.
be the one wherein IPL, one of the matches where he was injured and he got his, I think, gloves customized or
Yeah,
something
yeah, absolutely. The thumb one.
with the stitches, like when he had those
Mm.
stitches in his hand, and then he went on to
Yeah,
score a
yeah.
century, I think,
Yeah, absolutely. He was hitting the
or win
gloves
the
and he
match.
was
Or I think it
celebrating.
was,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, the
100% agreed with
celebration.
that. And
So
Yeah, right.
2016 was a big addition for him in IPL.
yeah, yeah, agreed with that.
Exactly.
And one more, I personally rate that very high. Is if I don't know whether you guys will agree or not. Is that Gabba innings, that Test match at Gabba when team was 10 for 2 and he went down and he celebrated where the bat do the talking, and that innings as well against the three great pacers who now are one of the three most great pacers of Australian cricket as well. Hazelwood, Cummings, and Stark against all odds, where Indian team just went there. We weren't expecting a result, but we came out winning the Test series itself. So that game as well in the fast bouncy pitch in Waka. I'm sorry, Gabba. It was very tough. Is it? Siddhanshu, I'll come to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was one innings where obviously Australia is known for their aggressive play, and then Virat Kohli goes there, and then he shows that, it's like one man against 11, and that one man against 11 is proving to be, a bigger issue for them. Like that one player alone is a big threat to the entire 11 players on the field at that point.
100% agreed with that. And that sums up the 10 players. We have spoken a lot, right from Kapil Dev to the current cricketers of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. I thank a lot to both of you. It was wonderful speaking about it. It's the 75th Republic Day today, and I wish everyone as well the same. And if you have anything to know, any other player, if we have missed some of the greats as well, but unfortunately, we had to pick 10, and I'm so sorry for that. But thank you so much to both of you. Thank you to all the fans who will be watching this. Let us know in the comment section which player did the two guests say the most apt, or anything they have missed, or anything you want to add on to the points as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire channel as well. Thank you to both of you. Thank you, Siddhanshu. Thank you, Orko, as well. Thank you, everyone. Good night and bye bye.